Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host Evan Teague, and with me, like always, is my friend from a galaxy far, far away, Noah Bailey. So, off the bat, a little bit of housekeeping. We're currently not using Zoom anymore because Zoom decided it was going to go back to the whole, you can only do a video call for 40 minutes for some reason, even though we've been doing it like this for over a year now. Like all of a sudden now, only 40 minutes at a time. And that was a little annoying. So, if there's any audio issues, hopefully we'll fix it next time. But, hey, we're still here. We're still doing this. Talk about Star Wars. It's great. Because this past weekend was Star Wars Celebration. And I swear, every single time there's some kind of big convention that's not E3, I completely forget it's happening until like,
Right?
like a new trailer for this. Like, why is there so much Star Wars? Oh, because it's Celebration. Okay. Like every year at Comic Con, like I'm looking out for these things, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, Comic Con's happening. Okay.
Right? You're just like browsing. It's always I'm just scrolling on YouTube and I'm like, oh, that match got a trailer. Oh, no. Everything's happening.
Because like it should have tipped me off the fact that they delayed the episode 1 and 2 of Mandalorian. Sorry, of Obi-Wan, up a few days.
Mm-hmm.
But then the next episodes will still be on Wednesday. That it coincided with Star Wars Celebration.
Right? I didn't even think about that at all.
But yeah. Do you want to start with announcement stuff, or do you want to start with Obi-Wan?
Surprise me. Dealer's choice.
Let's dive into our initial impressions of the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan that came out this past Friday. What are your thoughts?
I liked it. I'm surprised. I liked it.
Yeah, I feel it's weird. Like, I swear, people on Twitter. We've discussed this even like so many times before, but like people on Twitter just for some reason can't find it in their soul to just like things.
Right.
They have to complain about every little solitary thing, to the point where some people were saying they didn't like young Leia's character because she was too sassy. When I'm like, are you guys insane? That's Leia.
That's her whole thing.
It's like one of the first lines out of her mouth is, General Tarkin, or whatever. Grand Moff Tarkin. I sense your stench
on this.
Yeah, that's her first thing she ever said in the franchise.
Her whole sass is her whole deal. That's kind of the thing. Sass is her whole deal. She's that kind. You know what I mean? And again, and plus she's a kid, so like she's gonna be extra sassy because kids have no filter.
Yep. So when she was talking to her cousin at that party, and like her cousin said you're not even a real Organa. Part of me was like, oh snap! Now this is the part where she's gonna run away crying because she's realized she's adopted. No, she's like, your dad hates you. It's like,
he's like, you're terrible. Like, he's like, you don't say anything. You just repeat things he says in the hope that your dad finally likes you. I was just like, I was like, yo, like saying,
Organa, but at least I like my dad. It's like,
that's
okay.
What I'm saying. Dude, like a 10-year-old just buried this man. Like, gone.
I will admit, the bit of her running away, especially in that forest at the in episode 1, her running through the forest, and like the Red Hot Chili Peppers for some reason are in this show. Them like not being able to catch her was a little funny because you could like visibly see the actors like restraining from not running as fast as they could.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, I did notice that because it was kind of like one. It's like, okay, that's a 10-year-old. Like, I understand not everyone's in the best shape, but like if you can't chase down a 10, like, you know what I mean? Like, you should be able to chase down a 10-year-old, especially when it's important. But
it's fine. Like,
right?
It's Star Wars. Like anything that's goofy like that, I
You could be like the Force prevented them to run fast. I don't know. Who knows? Like whatever.
Whatever. um, but yeah, I really really like the Inquisitors in these first two episodes. Just like the Grand Inquisitor going into that one little village and like systematically interrogating those people and like that them both just like not having it with the third sisters being like, what are you doing? Why are you cutting off people's hands? Stop it.
Like no. We're like no.
We're
like,
evil, but we're not this. What are you doing?
Like no, where you like no, calm down. Save it for the Jedi. What are you doing? Like, no. But I do like that like they don't seem to be messing around in terms of like trying to like get the Jedi to come out because like you said, like because like a lot of times when you see like the good guys are like hiding, and it's like the bad guys. I'm like, if you just start busting heads, like people they'll have to do something.
Mm.
So like you know what I mean. And I like how he uses the force, he just throws the knife at the guy, and of course the force stops. You know what I mean? Because he has to do something. So it's just kind of like. Okay, see, he's done this before. He knows, like, it's not. But I also like how they're casual about it because it's like we do this like every day. This is a week. This is like a weekly visit. You know what I mean? This is our Tuesday. We hunt out the Jedi. We find him out. We say, there he is, and then we smoke him, and then that's it.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, and kind of combining the previous two topics, a lot of people had an issue with the end of the second episode with. When Reva, the third sister, like parkouring across the city to get to Obi-Wan.
yeah.
I liked it because like it felt so it felt like the perfect bridge between the prequels and the original trilogy. Like obviously the aesthetic is very OG, but like that's straight out of what the original trilogy, Jedi flipping and what like that's perfect. Because at this point I'm under the impression that Darth Vader trained her specifically. That's why she knows so much about him. That's why she, like I don't know exactly why she hates Obi-Wan, but I feel like that her and Darth Vader are connected more in a way than we're being led to believe. And it would make sense if Vader trained her. Doing flips and tricks was Anakin's whole thing, especially in the Clone Wars. So like it makes sense that she would also do that.
Flips, yeah.
I'm fine with it.
I will say I was a little surprised that she knew who Darth Vader was. That kind of threw me off because like as far as I know, it's like there was only like maybe like a handful of people who even knew. That was like the whole thing because like it's all this whole oh Anakin was this hero, he died, like the other Jedi saved him. Like yeah, something like that, sure. Like, you know what I mean? Like. But of course, like Obi-Wan would know because it's like, oh, Darth Vader. It's like, oh, that sounds familiar. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, I think it's interesting that do you think all of the Inquisitors know, or do you think it's just her? I think
it's just her.
But how?
At this point, I have no reason to believe anyone else does.
Right? Because it doesn't make any. There's no reason they would know. I mean, it's not because Darth Vader was like notorious for killing people who knew his secret. So it's like.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, that's something we're definitely going to be. I'm going to be looking at closely. Following. So I'm like, how does she know?
But it does make sense that Obi-Wan's just been chilling on Tatooine for the past 10 years.
Right.
He wouldn't know Darth Vader is alive, so like him, her mentioning his name would be like a big deal to him.
See, that's the thing. Like I did, like when the Darth Vader name dropped, I'm like, okay, he's gonna freak out. But then when she was like, Anakin's alive, I was like, whoa, whoa. And then of course we get he reaches out in the force. It's like it's like when you like peek over the corner, like are they still looking? And then he's looking right at you, and you're just like, oh shoot. Dude, that was really, I really liked that ending because like the music and how it built up. That was really, that was epic. It's like, oh snap.
Yep. And I really really liked Kumail Nanjiani's character, the guy who pretended to be a Jedi. That's so clever.
My thing is like that'd be so risky though, because like even if they if like the Empire found out you were doing it even as a joke, they'd probably kill you just in case.
Yeah, probably.
So it's like I don't know, like I see the like potential benefit, but I feel like the downside is wouldn't be worth it. But I do always like the hustles in Star Wars, where it's like, of course, the kid has a cut because he's like, oh, there's a Jedi here, then that's all the whole thing. You're just like,
Oh, and the that one little shot of that 501st trooper,
oof.
like, because they both recognize each other. They 100%. That clone recognized Obi-Wan obviously knew, he was a clone like that, and Obi-Wan knew that the clones, was what killed the Jedi. Yeah, he still, gave him something because, like, I don't know if he would have if that weren't a 501st trooper, but like especially because it was one of Anakin's troopers, like that it wasn't Rex or anyone we knew specifically, but it was just some 501st trooper.
Right, I kind of like it's just some trooper. I think.
Yeah, and yeah, it also makes sense.
You think he knew it was Anakin or Obi-Wan though?
I have reason to believe he would. Yeah, like, I mean, him and Obi-Wan interacted with the 501st quite a bit, so I have no reason to.
This is true.
He wouldn't. And also, it was just, especially we've seen so far in the Bad Batch that very shortly after the Empire rose, did they start doing stormtroopers? So yeah, 10 years after, clone troopers are kind of obsolete, so they just kind of.
Yeah, they don't have anywhere to go. The government doesn't fund them anymore, but they don't just die. So like, you do.
Yeah. So yeah, that was just a very nice little touch. I don't know if they would have done that if Boba Fett wasn't filming, probably in the next lot over, but they had Tamara Morrison just on dock just to kind of have a little cameo, but it was a cameo that made perfect sense in that moment, and I really liked that. Yes. Yeah, that's pretty much been this entire show so far. Like any little cameos or things that I feel make perfect sense. Make perfect sense. The action has been pretty good so far. I like every single character, especially Obi-Wan, obviously. Leia, all the Inquisitors, like Owen also just like.
Yeah, very believably like, get away from me. You know what I mean? Like he seems very much like a look, man. These guys are gonna kill my whole family even if they think I know who you are. So like, back off. And and of course he's right because that ends up happening in A New Hope anyway. So it's like, yeah, back off.
Yeah, it is gonna be interesting to see how they deal with the fact that the third sister stabbed the Grand Inquisitor. And we know that the Grand Inquisitor comes back in Rebels, which takes place a few years after this, unless that's a different guy of the same race. Who?
See, but I feel like that has to be the same guy because I guess he looks a little bigger than he does in Rebels, but I think that's just the animation. So like,
yeah,
it's probably to be the same guy. So I assume he's fine.
Maybe he's that type of Sith who's just too angry to die, and he's just like.
Could be, or maybe I don't know. Maybe.
Because I think have you seen all of Rebels? Do you remember?
No.
Okay. I think he dies at some point during Rebels. I don't know.
He does.
Okay, I don't know.
He dies at the end of the first season, I believe.
Really?
But it's like, okay. But that's because they establish in Rebels like there's like years after this, so he should be fine.
Okay. It's gonna be awkward if he just doesn't show up again in this entire show, and we're just supposed to accept. He should.
He should. I'd be upset if he wasn't.
Yeah.
Maybe he has to recover, and then Darth Vader's like, I think I can step in for a moment. And they're like, we're getting a substitute. Nope, you're getting the principal. Oh no.
I don't know. I just find it a little weird why they would include that character at all if they're just gonna have to like write around him not dying.
That's kind of what I'm saying. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think they brought him in just to like almost kill him off at the beginning. I feel like he'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see. Again, the next episode is coming out on Wednesday, which does prove that they didn't learn anything. I thought, oh, everything Star Wars stuff would be on Friday, Marvel stuff on no. Every
No.
new Star Wars thing is coming out on Wednesday. Whatever.
Yeah, I still don't understand that because I feel like that would make way more sense. But again,
Because we're still gonna get, I think episode 4 of Obi-Wan the same day as Miss Marvel premiere.
it's coming out. So I mean,
Whatever.
I don't know. I didn't sign off on it, so
I just watch it and I will.
right. I'll make time.
Yeah. If only Loki wasn't such a big success as it was, I don't think they would have kept doing it. But whatever. Yeah, I obviously very much so looking forward to future Obi-Wan stuff and all the other Star Wars stuff we're getting in the future, like Andor, which looks amazing. Like, never in my wildest dreams would I thought, hey, this show about this character from Rogue One who I didn't remember the name of.
No, not remember the name at all.
I barely remember the main character's name of that movie, let alone like the like secondary guy, like male.
Yeah,
character.
like the side character, like
no, but no, this trailer like it looks like nothing we've really seen in the Star Wars as far as like shows go. Like we actually saw a glimpse of clone troopers in live action. We saw like imperialized clone drop ships. Like just it looks neat.
yeah.
Yeah.
It looks cool, like and like you said, a lot of times it's really surprising because we were like, oh, I expect like nothing from this, but it's like, nah, this looks really cool. Like it's definitely Star Wars. It, and again, it's rarely untapped territory because like we don't really know anything else out. You know what I mean? As far as like what's supposed to go on, so it's kind of like they can kind of do whatever they want with this, which is probably good because they can still use the era. But like, have the freedom to pretty much do whatever they want with whatever characters outside of the main character. So you know what I mean? The only thing we know is that like Andor doesn't die.
Right. Yes.
That is literally all we know. Everything else is on the table, which is
yeah. And I just really appreciate just how Star Warsy this trailer felt, despite not having iconic Star Wars imagery the entire time. Yes, we saw clone troopers. Andor, Cassian Andor was a main character in one Star Wars movie, but like he's
far from an iconic character.
He's not a Yoda or a Chewbacca or like some big name.
We saw some stormtroopers, like a couple Imperial gray suits or whatever, but like for the most part it's kind of just whatever.
But we still had speeders, we still had just like the general architecture looked very Star Warsy. Just the color palette felt very Star Warsy. Like it's just, I hope people appreciate the show. Despite, I hope they keep it where it's not like just full of references and cameos and stuff. And I hope people appreciate it for what it is and don't wish for like all this other random stuff in there. But yeah. That looks way better than I ever could have dreamed of being. That's coming out August 31st. So we'll be getting that and She-Hulk simultaneously, but whatever. They also revealed that Mandalorian Season 3 will come this February. So a little more of a wait, but there's other Star Wars stuff in between, so take your time. And Jon Favreau also went ahead and confirmed that they're currently storyboarding for Season 4. So, yeah.
So you're saying the Mandalorian's pretty good.
He probably won't die in Season 3, but
Yeah. I mean, hey, maybe. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. And even if every Star Wars show that comes out between now and Mandalorian isn't good, people kind of, fall off of the franchise again, like they always claim to fall off the franchise after everything is like not great. I have a feeling once Mandalorian comes around, people will just go right back in.
They'll go. No, there won't be far. It's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing to worry about.
We also got the first look at the Ahsoka show, and for all you people complaining, her little tentacle things are longer now. So, yay.
I mean, I guess they were longer in Rebels, I guess, but it's like
I don't.
It doesn't really matter.
20
As
years
long
of-
as she still looked like Ahsoka. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like weird.
She wasn't
It was still,
unrecognizable. It's not like, oh, they're not as long as they were in the animated show, therefore it can't be the same character. Like,
well, the thing is, like I understand it's not like it. I understand it's like it's a part of her head. It's not like a haircut, but like it's weird because like in Clone Wars they were about the same length they were in Mandalorian, and I know Rebels is obviously supposed to be after that, but it's still like she looks more recognizable to what I would imagine Ahsoka to look like anyway, so
Correct.
it doesn't really matter. But
she still looks good in this in the screenshot we got. So that's coming out sometime next year. They didn't give it a month or anything, but
it's a coming.
Yeah, it's coming. We also got our first look at the John Watts Star Wars show that we talked about the last week or the week before. Star Wars Skeleton Crew, which stars Jude Law. And in all of the information that came out over this past weekend, I kind of lost track of what exactly the show is, if they gave any description of it, but it's all I remember is that it's going to be set after Return of the Jedi, probably going to at least coincide with Mandalorian in some capacity, since Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are executive producing it. They can throw some cross-reference imagery there, so
yeah,
sure.
Like, it's very vague. We don't know what it's about, but it's in good hands, so it'll be fine.
Again, I've liked everything John Watts did in the Marvel universe so far. Obviously, Jude Law is incredible. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are a part of it, so it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
They revealed that Star Wars Visions Season 2 is coming next spring.
Nice.
So that's very good.
Star Wars plus anime equal win. Yes.
Yeah, they gave no indication of like what studios are working on it, but that's fine. About a year from now we'll get more Star Wars anime, so great. Sticking with animated stuff, a new animated show called Tales of the Jedi, which this is kind of something that I feel has been sorely lacking from the animated space in general. In like Star Wars lore in general, like going back and like seeing Jedi from the original from the prequels, just like a day in the life of like what they were doing before the Empire fell. We know we're gonna get some backstory on Ahsoka. We know we're gonna get something on Count Dooku. We know we're gonna get stuff on Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah, I'm excited about that part.
Mm-hmm. So that's cool. Actually seeing, how, because especially those two specifically, because Count Dooku trained Qui-Gon, like how exactly did Count Dooku's influence over Qui-Gon, change him? What did Count Dooku do, or what did he realize that made him want to leave the Jedi Order? How did Qui-Gon actually act? Because I feel like after recently rewatching the original, the prequel trilogy, I really don't feel like Qui-Gon was that great of a Jedi in those movies. Apparently his character has been more fleshed out in expanded universe stuff.
This is true. Yeah, I've got a couple books that I've read about Qui-Gon where he's a pretty cool dude.
I'm sure he is. But like, and everyone is like, he's this maverick who didn't play by the rules, but it seemed like he kind of did in the movie. But whatever. But seeing more of that, especially in an animated space, is going to be very cool.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome to explore that. Because again, I think a big takeaway, Qui-Gon's entire character is to be like this. If Anakin would have had him as a master, everything would have been great.
Right.
Because he had this like, kind of like we see with Anakin in Clone Wars, where Anakin's like, yes, I'm a Jedi, I do the right thing, but I do it my way, kind of thing. And that was Qui-Gon's kind of bread and butter. So it's kind of this thing where theoretically they would have been a perfect fit. You know, he would have trusted Qui-Gon to tell him about what's really going on with his life, and they would have been able to work together. Palpatine's not in there stirring the pot as much,
right,
causing these things. But of course, Qui-Gon gets killed, and Obi-Wan has to train him. So yes, they still probably have a more brother-like relationship than a father-son relationship, and I feel like that kind of hinders the potential of, like, you know, trusting Obi-Wan with certain things otherwise. So it is a whole thing. It's supposed to, like, the fate of the galaxy, but yeah, I'm excited to see just how that, because it's interesting, because again, his master was Count Dooku, which he seems like he'd be a pretty, you know, by the book Jedi guy too.
Yeah,
but who knows?
Yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
Because yeah, not the biggest issue with the prequels, but one major issue with the prequels is, you know, Dooku just shows up in episode 2 randomly. Yes. Like, they name drop him twice very early on in the movie, in episode 2, and just shows up over an hour in. He's like, oh, I'm the bad guy now. But
yeah, they did that a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because they did the same thing with General Grievous. He's just... General Grievous' ship is Jedi head.
Yep.
General Grievous. Oh my God! Okay.
Yeah. But so in both scenarios, it would have made a lot more sense and been more impactful if they had shown up in the movie before they were introduced as the villain.
Or like, at least
if Christopher Lee was just like in the background, like, you know, on the council, something, just walking the hall.
Right, that would have made way more sense.
Been around.
Yeah, you just have a council seat or something. It would have been a lot easier to be like if he had been like in Mace Windu's spot or something.
Yeah.
In episode 1, I feel like it would have made episode 2 would have been a lot more congruent, because he's not just, oh, Christopher Lee's a bad guy in this series now. No. He was a good guy. Now he's a bad guy, and we see that progression.
Yeah. Like through 10 years, a lot can change.
Right?
So, yeah, but because you know, the plan of the trilogy changed shortly after episode 1 came out, supposedly, they had to course correct it as have.
It's like the plan. Yeah. Yeah. That's what the kids are calling it now.
but now actually getting a chance to see Count Dooku as a Jedi is a very cool idea.
Yes, I think it would be awesome.
Yep. We also got a new trailer for Bad Batch Season 2, and all I care about is that Cody is in that trailer.
Yeah! You mean you don't care for unnamed Wookiee Jedi?
It was Gungi.
Oh, it was. Oh, you do. That's right. I forgot the like. Well, I forgot what that arc was called, but the like, whatever, with the kid Jedi or whatever. I didn't remember any of the names.
No,
I just remember him. But yeah, no, Cody was in it, which I'm like, this is what we should have the first time. But all right, like, yep, I want to see clones that I know that I spent years knowing and loving fight each other.
Yep, like, because
I hate to say it, but yeah,
because we like the little bit we saw of Cody was him with Crosshair, like shooting at people. Like, it's gonna be. I need a scene between him and Rex being like, dude, what the heck? Cody, come on.
Right, because I mean, we haven't even seen, because like, as far as I know, I don't think the Bad Batch ever met with. Did they ever have an interaction with Cody? Really?
They did, yes.
He did. Okay, I don't.
In the first episode of the Bad Batch arc in season 7.
Okay, that is right. Yeah, because they were together. That's right.
Yes, he got injured, but he was like carted back to the base, but then Rex went with the rest of them.
Right. Yeah, so but yeah, that'd be yeah, because we haven't seen really a Rex and Cody interaction really
Mm-hmm.
since then. I don't think, to be honest.
No,
So
it's
it'd be kind of wild. That'd
mm-hmm.
be so wild to see that. It'd just be, you know what I mean? It's kind of just like,
And especially if they do the thing where, 'cause, Crosshair, he took his chip bag and he's still just like, no, I'm the evil. This is who I am.
yeah,
If Cody does the same thing and he's like, actually, I never liked the Jedi. I feel like the Empire is doing things better. Like that's
yeah,
gonna be.
I'd be like, yeah, no, how dare you? Obi-Wan in the
I've
sands
been
of
waiting to
Tatooine.
I've been waiting for my chance to shoot Obi-Wan out of the sky since I was born.
Nah, nah. After what I've seen, no way. Oh,
I think they
man,
can make
that'd
it
be
work.
crazy. Like they might not be. I don't know. They probably weren't as close as like Rex, but like and Anakin, but like still, like they were boys. Like, come on.
Yeah.
After all the stuff they went through, come on, man. Like you can't. I don't know. I don't feel like you can go to war with someone for that long and not at least like be like, yeah, that's my guy. Like, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, at worst, you're like, he's a old friend. Like, you can't be like, yeah, I never did like that guy. Like,
Yeah.
come on. After all you've been through, all the crap all the times General Grievous blew up your ships, like, oh man,
but but yeah, I just like I this is something I predicted either for Bad Batch and or Obi-Wan since they were announced. So
yes,
we're getting him at least one of those two things. So
yeah.
that makes so much
Yeah,
sense.
it's
I
like
like it.
Obi-Wan's probably a little too late just because, it's like 10 years, but
Yeah, and we already saw that at least one clone had like become obsolete and had to, panhandle on the side of a road just to get by. So I'd
mhm,
assume Cody wouldn't be a part of the Imperial Army, but
probably not.
yeah,
What does?
who
Yeah,
could?
so
Who can,
I mean,
who could be alive?
theoretically, but I mean,
Yeah,
who knows?
yeah. That's. I think Bad Batch is coming out this fall at some point. So yeah, um, I think that's it for the shows that were announced. Uh, they did go ahead and confirm that um, the next Star Wars movie was actually is going to be Taika Waititi's movie, and it
Ooh,
is teased to be set in the era of the new trilogy.
interesting.
Yes.
Like the sequel trilogy or the
Yes.
new trilogy? Like the new?
The sequel trilogy.
Okay, the sequel
Yes.
trilogy. Okay.
Which that is an era that has been sorely
Oh yeah.
sorely not been explored at all. Um, Granted, the world building of the sequel trilogy is probably the weakest of the three so far, but there's
Yep.
still plenty of stuff they could do
Oh yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
Set it after, set it just before, even during, like just do whatever.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd probably do it before, to be honest, because I feel like we don't really. Because again, I feel like they just dropped us in, and we don't really know what's happened.
Right.
Because there was a whole New Republic that we didn't even see. We just saw it get blown up. So it was kind of just like,
Yeah, and like we're seeing the starts of it in Mandalorian, but seeing the beginning of the First Order, like how they rose
right?
to
Like they're
power,
just there.
like yeah, there's so much potential with a Taika Waititi Star Wars movie in general, which is going to be fantastic, but also
Yes.
a movie set in or around that new trilogy. That sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah,
Hmm.
I think that's coming out next fall. I think. I don't know if the release date was for that, but it's coming out sometime in the future. So, yeah, I think 4 years removed from the last Star Wars movie is a good amount of time to.
Yeah, well, yeah, give it a little, especially after that last one. Kind of give it some time to rest a little bit.
Yeah,
Like,
we still have stuff on Disney Plus to keep us entertained until then. But
hmm
yeah, this is good.
yeah.
I think the last little bit of Star Wars news that I had, that at least I easily could have missed something. Um, they officially announced Star Wars Jedi Survivor
Yeah.
coming out next year.
Sequel games.
Yes.
If the legend of sequel games is true, this game is going to be unreal how good it is. Because the sequel games are almost always just like epic, usually.
Could be. It's set 5 years after Fallen Order, meaning technically it's set like almost congruent with Obi-Wan. That could be
I was
something.
about to say, yeah,
Yeah.
that's about.
Um,
You don't think?
could be. Honestly, I think it's more likely that Cal will show up in Obi-Wan than vice versa. But either way,
But
could happen.
what if not both?
Why not both? Yeah.
Why not both is good?
Yeah, both is good.
Both is good. I love that movie.
As much as I would have preferred, a new Jedi game having a different character, preferably being able to create your own character with the new, you can be any alien race you want, whatever. People really did like Cal. People liked his story. So seeing more of that, like what he's been up to for the past 5 years, is just gonna be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That trailer looked intriguing. We saw some guy in a pod. Do you have any idea who that?
I personally no, because my first thought was Darth Vader, but I'm like, no, he has hair. Like, so I was like, I don't want it to be someone obvious that I'm just forgetting, but like I couldn't think of anyone it could be, so I don't really know. But
yeah, regardless, the first Fallen Order was probably, I feel very confident in saying this, the best game that EA has put out in years.
Yes.
that still holds that title of being, outside of technically Apex Legends, but that doesn't really count. I don't actually count.
I feel like that doesn't really count.
Yeah. So yeah.
That doesn't count. No. As far as like a game they have made, yeah, like easily the last 10 years.
Yes.
Easily. Like.
Actually, those are both Respawn games, also. So
Ooh.
Can't really say EA. The best, whatever.
The best thing EA has had its name on in the last 10 years.
And the only previous games I can think of were Titanfall, which is also Respawn. Because the new Battlefield is not holding up as well as I thought it would. That's coming out next year. Hopefully by then you'll have a PS5, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, at first I was like, oh, I don't need a PS5. PS4 will be fine. And then Gotham Knights is like, oh yeah, so by the way. And I'm just like, okay, well, that's a little bad. Spider-Man 2 is coming, Wolverine's coming, and I'm just like,
Suicide Squad is next gen only. Yeah.
I don't want a PS5 at all. But I feel like I'm going to have to get one.
Yeah.
Which makes me sad. But I also just got a Switch, and I really like the Switch. I'm like, maybe I'll just I'll just switch to Nintendo for a while. I don't know, but
unfortunately, this game is not coming to Switch.
I know.
It would be great if it could, but it's not.
It really should. It's like all the games I want to play, I have to get a PS5.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no.
Yeah, I mean, you theoretically could get an Xbox Series S, although you have to get all your games digitally, which I know you don't love.
No, I don't. I don't know. Plus, I've never been an Xbox guy. I thought about getting an Xbox 360 a while ago, but I was like, no, I'll go PS4, or was it Xbox One? I don't remember which Xbox it was. The one that was with PS4. But I was like, no, I'm gonna get PS4, and it was the right choice. And now I'm just like, PS5, because you still can't even buy them, can you? Like, aren't they? It's been out for like over a year.
A year and a half. You still can't.
And you still can barely buy one anymore.
Yep. The Xbox Series S is more so available because less people want them, but they still are selling because they're, I don't know, so they are available.
I don't know. I don't know. I have a story about that later. I'll tell you in a minute. But then it is. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe by then I'll have some more money, so I won't feel as bad. But now I'm like, there's no way. So we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. Do you think I missed anything from as far as like Star Wars
As
information
far as
goes?
Star Wars related, no.
Okay. Of the things that were announced or showcased, what is your number one most anticipated thing from this list?
Honestly, that's kind of the thing because like we're still like obviously like we're in Kenobi right now, which was
Right.
my most excited Star Wars thing for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as like future endeavors, I'm kind of split because like it would be Jedi Survivor, but again, I don't have a PS5, so I'm not as excited yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other hand, I kind of like the idea, I kind of like, oh, Cody's in Bad Batch, but it's like, yeah, but Bad Batch, he might be in like a handful of episodes. And Bad Batch did kind of have some hits and misses too, and
Yeah.
it's interesting because like I like everything that was announced, but I'm not like really excited for anything that was announced, which is
Yeah.
kind
Like
of
with
weird.
Bad Batch specifically, even just watching the trailer, I could tell. Oh, here's what the episodes that are gonna be not as good. The episodes with Gungi, the episode with Rex and Cody, those are gonna be the highlights. But like
Yes.
the episode with those crab monsters, the episode with like just, like they're in that wood factory. Like I think those are gonna be the like weird
Yeah.
side questy episodes, but we'll see.
Yeah. Because it really gave the vibe of we're just running it back the same way
Mm.
again, which
Which is,
isn't terrible, but is like, I
uh,
don't know.
I don't know. But I mean, I like anime, so Star Wars Visions is probably my most
That's
anticipated
true.
thing.
That's true.
I mean, Mandalorian and Ahsoka, I have no doubts about those. So that I don't really
Yeah,
want to like put those on the same category because like they're gonna be good. I'm not
and
like,
like and like
yeah,
they were like announced, but like we knew that was coming anyway, so it's
yeah,
not like a it's
yeah.
not like a oh
Visions,
my gosh, Mandalorian season like we know like it's
yeah, yeah. Visions was rumored to come back, but it wasn't like announced. But
confirmed,
yeah, but
yeah.
now it's confirmed for next year, which is good, very good.
Right. No, they need no Star Wars anime is always a good thing. So like yeah.
And yeah, I really appreciate that Andor surprised me as much as it did. Like
That
wasn't,
is true. That
yeah,
is true. I because again, my expectations for Andor was, oh, this is still happening.
yeah.
So
Oh, they already got a season two greenlit before the first one came out. Like, okay, what is this thing? But no,
oh
it's
my god.
it's 12 episodes, which is again wild, and they already greenlit a sequel. It's like we're getting
That
24
is
episode of Andor that we didn't ask
that's
for, but
kind
it
of what
might
I'm
be
saying.
good.
I'm
Who knows?
like, yeah, that's really that's bold because, like,
Mm,
granted, I don't think it's gonna be bad, but it's like to basically take a unknown commodity and
mm,
already guarantee a second season without it even being like any reception of it whatsoever so far, except for this trailer. It's like, wow, that's like, woo,
yeah,
all right, like
yeah.
that's some faith. But hey,
Yeah. I mean, and at least from what the trailer showed, it seems to be able to to bring it. So cool. Um, one last bit of information from Star Wars Celebration, not actually Star Wars-y, but it's still Lucasfilm. Um, Indiana Jones 5 has officially had a release date for June 30th next year. So,
okay, Harrison Ford running back again.
yeah. Probably for the last time.
I mean, we said that like 2 movies ago, though. I mean, I I'm not against Indiana Jones, but I'm
Mm.
kind of like Harrison Ford. I feel like Harrison Ford. It's okay to hang it up. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, but at the same time, do you really want the last, like, was it King of the Crystal Skull? No, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you really want that to be the last time you play this
Well, it
character?
had been for this long, so like I was coming to terms with
But
it.
they've been
Like,
trying to make Indy 5 for 10 years now, ever since they bought it back in 2012, 2013, whenever that was. They've been trying
yeah,
to make this for a while. And that would have only been a year or two after the Indy 4. So for some reason it just wasn't coming together until now.
yeah.
Over
And they
10
all
years after the last one.
I know. Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. It's like at this point, people are gonna think Indiana Jones like this one is gonna be like, oh, it's coming back from the last one's the original. So like,
Hmm.
because it's been so long, it's like, no. This is the like not the This is the sequel to the reboot to the original
That's,
series.
and some people might kind of see it as like a Terminator situation where Terminator Dark
yeah.
Fate is not a sequel to Terminator Genesis, which was kind of a sequel to Terminator 3, which is kind of a sequel to Terminator 2, although the Terminator Salvation is also there, but that's set in the future, past, depending on how you look at
Yeah,
it.
the Terminator
But
timeline makes no sense.
but but also none of those are real because Terminator Dark Fate is just like a direct sequel to Terminator 2, but it's bad. So
Which is weird because Terminator 2 is the best one. So
Terminator
it's
2 is fantastic. And they keep just
like
trying to make Terminator 2 again and keep failing.
I mean, like, how did, but like, you could have just done Terminator 2 again, and it like would have been like, I don't know, it's fine, I don't. Yes, but that's kind of my thing, because like, well, it's weird because like a lot of these '80s movies are like coming back because obviously they've been doing Star Wars. This they had another trilogy after the trilogy coming back from the original trilogy in the '80s. Then they had Jurassic Park, and then Jurassic Park came back, and then Jurassic Park came back again, and then like Terminator again.
Yep.
Like
They keep trying to make
Ghostbusters again, and then Ghostbusters again. But we don't talk about the last Ghostbusters. This is the last. So it's
yeah.
like,
Although no one remembered that Afterlife even happened, yeah, it's getting a sequel, but no one's gonna watch that out. Whatever.
like right, like,
and they keep trying to make Aliens happen. Like Aliens Covenant
right.
came out a few years ago, but no one liked that. Just
I don't know. I know it's easier said than done, but it's like, do we really have to just reboot things? And then like, and not to be mean, but like, especially when you keep a lot of the same actors, it's like, it's been a while. Like maybe it's time to, hand it over. But then again, when they do that and they get Solo, then it's like, but I mean, I don't know.
the problem with Solo wasn't the new actors. Like
I know, but
it was kind of the boring script.
I know, but because again, I really like Donald Glover. I thought,
Amelia Clark's character was good.
yeah.
Vision.
Oh, Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany's character was cool. The tease of Darth Maul at the end was obviously good.
Yeah, that was really good.
Like they were, I liked the guy that played Solo fine enough, but
yeah, I know that wasn't the problem, but it just like it didn't help. You know what I mean? I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that's not fair, but it's just like I don't know. It's just like I don't know. I kind of feel like everything now is just getting rebooted, and it's just kind of like, which was kind of cool because like me and my friends would do this thing, especially in college, where it's like we would watch the originals and go to the theater to see the reboot or whatever.
But essentially, going back to Terminator Dark Fate.
Sorry.
Perfect. Perfect segue because the main thing Terminator Dark Fate seemed to have going for it for the trailers was that Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger were going to be in the movies again.
Right.
Even though that's not really that big of a selling point because Arnold had been in. He actually had a cameo in Salvation, and then also was like a pretty big part of Genesis, which came out 3 years before this one. So it was like, hey, Arnold Schwarzenegger is coming back, but also Linda Hamilton is in this. So like, okay. Like, and then she I guess was the best part of that movie, but it was a bad movie, so like she didn't
How
get
good
to
is
do
that?
anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So like if you're gonna reboot the franchise, at least try to make it good. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, but I guess that goes without saying. But it's like, I don't know. I'm kind of over I'm over the reboots of like stuff because like people are like, because again, they do this with games, they do this with everything. It's like they bring something back when just enough time has gone by that generation isn't the target demographic anymore, and then they just do it again.
Yeah,
and it's just like, I feel like this didn't used to happen that much. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't know. Like, this is kind of why I like the concept of the Andor show so much because he's not this household name, yet they're really passionate about this character enough to make at least 2 seasons for this guy, and it looks good. Like, you don't need this iconic imagery to like carry your stuff. But
yeah, it's like original. Like, I'm okay with taking original universes and stories, but like, as far as like carving a new niche, like Mandalorian's a great example. It's like, yes, obviously it's Star Wars, but especially the first season was so far away from anything you knew about Star Wars
Uh-huh.
that it was basically its own thing. And I feel like that's not being explored enough because every time anyone does anything now, it's like, oh, well, we got to get the OGs back for it, or oh, we got to make this reference to it, and oh, we got to do this, and then they rely so much on the fan service, the actual movie suffers for it. So it's
Right.
like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just complaining, but like, yeah, I feel like growing up, this didn't happen that often. Because again, obviously, like Star Wars, but like, it didn't feel like this. It didn't feel like everything coming out now. Because again, like Top Gun, they're coming back. They're
Which
doing.
apparently is fantastic, but yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But again, I mean, I haven't seen the first one, which I need to see. But yeah, again, that's one we're gonna do. Like me and brother, we're gonna watch the original and then go see Top Gun. But it's like, it's just weird because it's like, I don't know. Like growing up, stuff felt more original now, and I know maybe I just wasn't aware of the original for some of the things, but like now it's like everything is just the same thing warmed up.
Like, I feel like that's probably closer to it because, you know, there have been several times I think about a movie from my childhood and then I realize, oh, that was actually a reboot or a remake or something like, like Parent Trap or other Lindsay Lohan movie.
Mean Girls?
No, the one for her and
Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday, yeah. Both of those are actually
those are remakes
of like of 60s movies. But,
yeah.
For example, like
Yeah, no, and that is a good point because like I do. Yeah, because maybe I need to like sit down, go through like things I watched growing up, and then realize because like a lot of things are remakes or like very like even if it's not a remake, it's like very loosely adapted. You know what I mean? It's kind of like this isn't this, but it kind of is. If you think about it, but
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna look into some older stuff and like to see just how much stuff was really has already been done. But
have this actually might be a good place to bring this up. Have you seen the Mulan reboot?
I didn't watch it.
Okay. My roommate and I watched it at some point last week. It's offensive. How bad it is.
Wait, to Disney? To
just,
like everyone?
For like offensive as a movie. Like it shouldn't exist. Like it does the thing where it's like the movie knows it's a remake of an already existing movie, so it like it essentially rushes to all of the like iconic beats of the original movie without any of the heart, soul, or purpose behind the original. Like for example, they have the little like tea ceremony where they try to determine if Mulan's worthy enough to be matched or whatever, and then that goes bad. Then she leaves that, and immediately after she leaves, her family asks like what happened, whatever, and then the King's men came in, or the Emperor's people came in and tried to recruit her dad immediately after. Where in the original movie, there was a whole song. Like
it was like 2 songs, I think.
Well, there was the song right before the tea ceremony, and then
then
Reflection, and then a nice little moment between her and her dad, like sitting next to that cherry tree, where it's like, this cherry tree has bloomed, but that one little blossom hasn't fully bloomed yet. But I have a feeling it's going to be the most beautiful one. Just a nice little moment. It's like, not everything turns out the way you want it to be. Like, you as my daughter have not disrespected me. Like, I still love you, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's a very nice moment. That didn't happen in the remake. I think, if I remember correctly, her dad actually was, like, kind of disappointed in her. And then he got recruited. It's like, It's like, yes, that happened in the original movie, but like there was meaning behind it.
Right. There's more to it than just, my daughter
Hmm.
isn't married yet. Like,
Yep. And even more egregiously, um, they in the original Mulan, they they've been at the they've been at the camp for like a while now. I think. Oh yeah. The whole training montage already happened. The scene at the lake already happened. Like these people have like gotten to know each other pretty well so far already, and they're talking about the girls that they're back home fighting for, and they have their whole song "Girl Was Fighting For," and then they're singing about the glory of war and like how that's gonna make them go to the ladies when they get back home. The song abruptly ends with them like reaching the fiery
burn,
remains.
scorched. Yeah.
Yep. And the most important part of that scene is not the fact that all the soldiers of that fort died. It's not the fact that the village is burned. It was the little doll that was left behind.
Mm.
And they pick it up. It's like, oh, this is the girl we're fighting for. Guess what didn't happen in the remake? They literally like they first get to the camp. One of the very first things that happened was they sit down for dinner or whatever, and they start just like talking about the girls they have at home. And then like 30 minutes go by, and they just like arrive at the destroyed village, and it's like, oh, we're all that's left. That sucks. Oh, I guess we got to keep fighting now. And then they go fight the Huns again. It's like,
Yeah, that doesn't really work.
no. Like, again, it's like, we need to have a scene reminiscent of the girl was fighting for scene. We need to have a scene that's like the scene of the destroyed village. We just, without understanding why those two scenes in conjunction were important. But instead, no character learned anything the entire movie. It just like I have so many just like minor nitpick whatever about the movie, but like especially the fact that like Mulan is basically a Jedi. She has like not she can't like lift up with her mind, but she's just like magically better at stuff because she has chi, which apparently no other warrior has chi.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's not really just a her thing.
But she specifically is like, oh, you have chi. Like one of the warriors, like, you have chi. Yet why are you hiding it? It's like, does no one else? Is this a big deal that she has chi? I don't know. Just, like the way they handle her abilities was very wrong. the the evil witch, this evil witch lady who is supposed to be kind of like a mirror of Mulan. It's like, oh, if you actually use your chi, you could have been more like me. But
Wait,
whereas
who?
there's this evil like sorcerer lady who can turn into a bird.
What?
Yeah.
That is not a thing. Where did that come from?
We don't get Mushu the talking dragon. We get a lady who can turn into a bird. Yeah.
Wait, so Maleficent was just like, hey, let me be in this one too? Like, I don't,
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't get that.
Um,
Wait, are they still fighting the Huns? Like, is
Yes.
this? I'm so confused.
yeah, she's just a part of it.
Why? That's not even okay.
She's a part of it because apparently the Emperor like is so like set in his ways that he doesn't want any women using she in his kingdom or whatever. So she's fighting with the Huns, who, by the way, apparently the main Hun guy, which they don't call them the Huns, they call them something else, but they're basically the same thing. The main Hun guy is fighting because the Emperor in a previous war killed his father. So we're the villains of this movie is a man who's trying to get revenge for the Emperor killing his dad, and a lady who's felt ostracized from society because she has magic. So I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be rooting against these guys.
It's like, who's really the villain?
Yeah. And like whenever she like talks to Mulan about the fact that like we could join me, you could be like me if I kind of like, and together we can,
Rule the
change.
galaxy.
Well, kind of
Sorry.
like we can change China for the better. Girls like us can exist. And Mulan's like, no, you're evil. She's right though.
I mean, to be fair, they did burn down a village, though.
Yes, that was unnecessary. But it's one of those classic things where it seems like every movie nowadays has to. They're essentially modern day movies. They've gotten so much better at writing villains, but they forget that they're still villains. So they need to throw in a scene at the very end, and be like, oh, even though you agree 100% with everything that they think, we need to have the villain flood the city.
It's like no, it's like the honest trailers thing for Black Panther where he's like Killmonger. He's like, wow, he makes a good point, and yeah, these people are suffering. Wait, who's the good guy again?
Yeah.
Wait, make the bad guy do something evil. And he like stabs
Exactly.
Forrest Whitaker.
Right.
He's like, okay, good. Now I know
And
who the
yeah,
bad
like
guy is.
like
Okay.
like I made the allusion to the Batman. Like the Riddler is kind of right.
Yeah,
The city is corrupt to
and
the core. But no, he had to flood the entire city and kill everyone. Like
right, and it's like, oh, dude, you're right. And the thing is, too, like the good guys aren't gonna learn anything from this. Like, thankfully, Black Panther, they actually are like, okay, no, we need to make it. But, like, but most of the time, they have the villains be right. But because they went too far, it's like, nope.
Like
Good guys are right. Everything's perfectly fine. Society remains as it is. Move on.
Yep. The most Mulan changed the world was like because she expressed, the ability to use chi, and using that chi, she helped save the emperor. She was offered to be a bodyguard to the emperor's, to the emperor, but like I feel like that's not because she used chi. It's because she's just a good warrior. But I guess the idea is that women can't be warriors. But I don't know. Just it was very confused the entire thing. And at some point, I do not recommend this movie. I highly recommend just watching the original.
Yes.
It's
Absolutely.
I might as like a novelty, just to like appreciate the original better, but also just to like have it as a potential talking point, and if it ever comes up in conversation.
Yeah, but like, it's just weird because like, it's just like what. Again, I go back to why make this in the first place. But like, if you are gonna make it like at least like I understand not making it shot for shot the same thing in live action because you got to change it up a little bit, I guess. But like, kind of keep the same themes. I don't think it's even this. It doesn't even sound like it's trying to be the same movie at all. Like it has a different message and everything.
Especially since it was expressly established that Mulan, from a young girl, has always been able to use chi. Just her dad has been telling her not to because it's not the womanly way to use chi or whatever. So, in the original, which I feel like a broken record, but that's the only thing I can compare it to. In the original, it's a big deal when she had to train during the Make a Man Out of You montage to learn how to climb that pole. Like she is like this, like she is a fish out of water. Like she doesn't like because she is a woman and she like came from the small village that didn't it has no warrior skills at all. She had to specifically train herself how to be more like the men. Whereas in the remake, she's just naturally better than everybody. there's a scene where like she's training with the love interest guy who's not the general, but it's this other like where it's this other guy in the troop, whatever, doesn't really matter. And like they're sparring, and like everyone in the entire field is like doing this like very like choreographed like set of motions, but they do it a couple of times and then just like start going ham on each other and doing all these like flips and like crazy moves, with Mulan eventually winning that fight. And like this is the first time anyone in the entire troop is training. Yet Mulan is just all like already better than
Everyone
everyone.
without
Like,
any training.
yeah,
Yeah, that is kind of that. And you hate it because like you don't want to be like, no, women should be good because like they should, but it's like it's the Mary Sue effect. You're just kind of like, oh, now I don't want to. You know what I mean?
the purpose of the movie is that she specifically built up the ability to be more like the men, but at the same time, really she won the fight because of her personal unique abilities. Like, her and the other guys in her troop, you know, it's kind of weird that they dressed up like they did, but then they like used the scarf to like climb with the build. Like it was cooler how they did it in the original movie.
And the song and the soundtrack was a banger. So
Yeah. There were a couple of moments in the remake where the soundtrack kind of alluded to the song that should be playing in that moment, but it's not the actual song. So why even bother having it?
yeah.
I don't know. It also doesn't help that Mulan is my second favorite Disney movie. So the fact that it's this bad,
noticeably horrible.
yeah, it's a little frustrating. And yeah, Disney is gonna keep making these reboots and remakes, just because they make some money apparently.
They make enough money based on the name alone that Disney doesn't care.
Yeah. Luckily, Mulan didn't really make any money, mostly because of COVID, but also
yeah. But see, that's the thing. I'm worried they're just going to chalk it up as, oh, well, that was a COVID movie. It's like, no, that movie was trash regardless. Yep. We'll see. Hopefully, we just don't get any more. Like, I don't know. Just stop it. Like, because like they make such good animation. Just like keep doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Still waiting on Inside Out too, man. Just saying. Like, it's right there. So much you could do with that.
No, we got Toy Story 4 instead.
I don't know. Which I don't know. Still, man, like that. It's right there. Puberty, everything. It could grow up with the audience, like everything is right there, and it's just like, nah.
Yeah.
Why?
Anyway. But yeah, it really does seem like nowadays every movie that's not a Marvel movie is just a remake of something else, or 30 years late sequel, or some other superhero, or like something else that's to the point where anything that is good feels like you're wasting your time because it's not a franchise movie. I don't know.
I don't want to say wasting time, but yeah, it feels like you're just not excited, like going in. You're just like,
yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh well. Actually, I do have one last little bit of stuff to cover. There was a new trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder. It was really good.
Have we not talked about that yet since that came out?
No.
No, because that came out last week. No.
Yeah. We got a first look at Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher.
Dude.
Yes.
Okay. Why is Christian Bale like an X-Men transformer? Like, why is he Mystique? Like, that makes no. Christian Bale is probably, as far as actors goes, probably I have seen the most diverse looking person ever. Because between all the movies I've seen Christian Bale in, he's looked like so many different people. Because in this, you compare this to like Batman, and then you have Batman, and you go to like The Fighter or like American Psycho, and then you look at that Vice movie where he's supposed to be Dick Cheney, and he's like ginormous, and you're just like, how is this all the same guy? Like
Yep, I'm sure you know this, but there was some movie that came out like 6 months prior to the Batman Begins where he had to like lose 70 pounds. Then he had to gain 120 pounds of muscle. Like, how did he did it? Like, how do you do that?
No, and like, he was like, oh, dude, you're actually too big. You need to lose some weight. Like, how's that? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I worry, man, because I'm like, I can't be good for you. Like, be changing that, like, even if it is just muscles, putting on and taking off muscles, it's like, that can't be good for you. Like, I mean, that is insane.
There's something to be said about, most method actors just method act to be a douche. like Jared Leto, for example. But at least he's method acting to like at least get into a role. It's not
Right.
I get to play a bad guy, so I'm gonna be a bad guy in real life. Deal with it. It's like no, like I don't wanna.
No, please no. Keep it on the set. But yeah, but he looks good. He looks menacing, but like
Those shots of him and Thor with like that black and white background, just like,
mhm.
oh my goodness, Taika Waititi, oh, the movie looks so visually
I'm very
stunning,
excited about this.
man.
Like this is and it comes out in like what
2 months?
6 weeks, I think.
Is it early or late July?
It's early. It's like July 8th, right?
Oh, okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah, so yes. Yeah, July. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's June. Never mind. Yeah, July 8th. So that is in 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 5.5 weeks. That is 5 weeks from this Friday.
Sweet.
So, yeah, super exciting.
Cool.
But man, yeah, it looks good. We got more, more Thor. Jane, we got more more of what she looks like. She looks great. Like I'm really excited about this movie. This is gonna be good.
And that little bit of her like, because the Mjolnir is like all the pieces are like put together in the hammer, but her like shooting out little pieces of it, like that's so clever.
Right?
Because
Never would have
she
thought
would
of
be
that.
worthy of the entire hammer, even if it's
Right.
broken.
So and she could shoot throw part of the hammer and it would still come back, just like the whole hammer would. So it makes sense.
So clever. Yes.
So that'd be man. Maybe you should break the other one. It's pretty smart. Oh man. But, yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Also, is Thor gonna wait? Did Captain America he didn't keep the?
No, he returned it. He
right.
brought it with him.
Right. So is Thor gonna just have two now, or is he just?
I assume Jane will keep Mjolnir and he'll keep Stormbreaker.
But doesn't she have the other Mjolnir?
No, Cap took the
Okay, Cap did
Mjolnir
take
with them. Yes.
Okay. That's right. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, just in case. You never know what can go down.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. Sorry, it's been a while. I haven't seen it in a while, but yeah, it's gonna be good, man. I'm excited. I trust it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. Everyone's gonna be back. It's all the seat.
Yeah, I don't care that Gore doesn't look like his comic counterpart. I really couldn't care less. Christian Bale is gonna kill it, literally.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, Christian Bale's a great actor. We're going to be just fine. And again, most characters in the MCU at this point don't look like the comic counterpart. So
yeah, but Russell Crowe being a kind of pudgy Zeus, perfect.
Right? Right?
that is. I know it's not like the Hollywoodized movie Zeus, but that's Zeus from mythology. Like all the gods are like, lazy sacks who just sat around eating and sleeping with people. It was
just doing whatever, lounging around for a billion years. But I mean, it'll work in this universe, and that's all it needs to do.
Yes, exactly. And plus, if you don't like him, Gore's gonna kill him in a couple of minutes anyway. So it doesn't really matter. So Star Wars Celebration was fantastic.
Yes.
That trailer was good. More Obi-Wan this week.
Yes.
Sweet.
It's a good time to be a nerd for you.
Do you have anything else you want to discuss or bring up?
That's all I've got.
Okay. So with that, we will see you all next time.
Take care, everyone.